What's your name? Where do you come from, bro?
My name is Denis, and ethnically I'm Lithuanian, but I was born and raised in London.
See, I was never told that bit. I was really worried I was going to have someone I could understand, but you speak perfect English, which is great. So let's get rocking and rolling. So, how long have you been in the real world, G?
I've been in the real world since the replatforming. So
Yeah.
as soon as it was replatformed, I got in. I think that was November 2022.
Nice, bro. And so, what campus are you part of, or what campuses have you been part of?
I've got access well, I've joined all of them, but I'm mainly active in the copywriting campus since I've been active in the copywriting campus and the business mastery.
Amazing, G. Amazing. And which one do you prefer? Which one is your favorite?
Most of the work that I've done, so there's two aspects for me from the real world. There's one which was me leveling up myself and who I was to become the
Yeah.
person who could even do work in the first place.
Yeah.
And then the second aspect was getting that understanding of how to do work, what type of work. So the business mastery was me going through the lessons of Tate talking about business and other areas of Tate and Tristan and Luke combined, sort of how to think mentally, how to act, what to be like, and that helped me build myself as a human being. And then the copywriting campus is now 99% majorly what I focus on. And my professor is Andrew Bass in that campus, and he's been like my my top tier mentor.
Great, great professor, bro. I've heard great things about him. So let's actually keep it simple. Could you describe to me your typical day inside the real world, as in when you wake up, what you do, how much time you spend inside, how much time you spend working on your own agency, and just go through your typical sort of day inside the real world for me.
Yeah, for sure. So roughly a day, I'd spend between 1 to 2 hours where I'm in the real world. I'll be going through the live calls of Andrew Bass, going through chatting in DMs or in the chats to see if there's anything I can help with, because it's always good to go through and you even learn yourself as you're trying to help other people. And
Hmm.
as well as that, on my own agency, I'm pretty much spending between an extra from aside from like being inside the platform another 4 or 5 hours a day, whilst
Hmm.
also having a 9 to 5. So I'm like pretty much non-stop working, and then when I'm not working, I'm training. That's pretty much my life.
That's amazing, bro. So, what agency have you started off the back of Business Mastery? What is it that you do to make money from that?
So it, in business mastery, I've not started a specific sort of agency. It's mainly copywriting. So
Okay.
I've been helping people with their websites. I've built websites
Yeah.
for an investment fund. I've built websites for beauty clinicians, and then I
Amazing.
help them with other areas where they can like help them strategize and figure out ways to kind of grow their businesses.
That's amazing, bro. And how did you, how did you get your first client? Because obviously, that's massive. Obviously, in acquiring clients, how did you reach out? How did you get a hold of your first client, and how did you learn that?
So my first client was actually through me fostering a relationship over the 3 4 months from meeting somebody in person. The way I went about this was the things that I learned of how the process worked in the real world and Andrew Bass teaching certain things. I kind of took that upon myself to embody that personality, and any
Mm.
new relationships I was meeting and people I was speaking to, I would ensure that I'm consciously always aware of those facts that I have been learning in the real world. Otherwise, there's no point of it if I'm not putting it into practice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there was one person that was my first client. After about 5 6 months, I was trying to see where they're at. It wasn't like I was kind of pushing them. It was like trying to build a relationship, etc. And then I understood what they do, where they're at, without being too forceful. All of the things I've learned, and I started to help them. I got to a value proposition of helping them with their social media ads.
That's amazing, bro. And how much money have you made from the real world since you've joined?
I've made over £12,000.
Amazing, amazing. So it's been worth your membership. You think that it's a worthy platform for its price?
100%, bro. 100%. You can make your money back so quickly. It might not be right in the beginning. Depends on where you are in the stage of your own personal life. It might not
Mhm.
be in a month, but it might be in a week. You never know. It depends on how hard you work and where you are currently. But
Mhm.
eventually, it definitely pays off, and 10 times more than that, 100 times more than that.
Now, you mentioned that it took you a little while to start making money. Was there any mistakes that you made that you'd obviously recommend for new students not to make themselves? Like, was there anything you could have done better or anything you wish you hadn't have done?
Definitely. So for me, the beginning part of getting into making money wasn't my first priority. My first priority was to fix myself. I was at a point where I was in between study and working,
Yeah.
and I was like I wasn't doing too well in like my family situation. I started
Okay.
using drugs.
Okay.
Um, it wasn't really good. And
My
then
friend, I've been there. Don't worry, you're not the only person that's done it. And I'm sure there's many others out there that have done it too. I used to hang around with the wrong people, put myself in the wrong environments, and it's amazing that you've picked yourself up, you've joined the real world, you've made something of yourself, and you're making money. Would you say that the real world has changed your mentality and changed your mindset?
absolutely, it's almost other than God and Allah, it's saved my life. If I wouldn't be where I am today, I wouldn't think the way that I think, I wouldn't train as hard as I train if it
Hmm.
wasn't for a lot of the things that I've learned in the real world. The real world is a place where like it's more than just learning in campuses and doing work. It's a network where you can find brothers. You've got the professors that are literally, to me personally, they're like mentors.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And do you know what, Andrew? I've heard great things about your professor too. So you're very lucky to have that support from him because I'm sure that he's changed obviously your lifestyle and he's changed the way you think about certain things. And bro, I mean, you've acquired clients. Like that's the start. So how many clients have you got now?
I've got two clients at the moment.
Okay. And are you continuing to get more clients? Are you keeping bringing money in? And what's your next step in terms of business mastery and or copywriting and getting more clients? What are you going to do next?
Yeah, so I've figured through the clients that I've had what work I enjoy most, because obviously not all of it. It's like there was a saying that I don't remember. I think it was Andrew Tate. Maybe he said, he was like, the Chinese man doesn't masturbate over cement, but he still makes money through it. So it's like there's certain pieces of work that you're not specifically enjoying too much, but it's still work. What I've figured
Yeah,
is I've come currently doing also sales under commission, and I'm using the tactics I've learned from Andrew in the copywriting campus,
that's
and
amazing.
I'm gonna continue using this as a case study to grow and find better and bigger clients that have worthy things to sell of, and then keep earning commission that way. And I think that's my next step forward.
That's amazing, brother. That's amazing. And what is your take on the live calls? Have you watched any of Pope's live calls or any live calls inside the real world?
Yeah, yeah. So I've taken part of like the bigger live calls that Pope has run. He's done the AI calls to kind of keep us up to date with what's going on in that regard. And that's also helpful because I think no matter which area of work you're in right now, AI is imminent to change people's lives.
Absolutely.
So
Do you find the live calls valuable?
yeah, so Andrew Bass has live calls every single day. He's got a
Yeah.
morning power up call. Those are
Okay.
like the calls where no matter what type of day you're having, that's a call where you learn things. He will talk sometimes about sales and persuasion. Sometimes he'll talk about history, and it will always link back to mindset and how to go on forward, learning tactics, learning different ways of working, and it's brilliant. He's actually reconstructing the campus currently. The last 3 days, there's always new things coming about, always new ways of him improving the campus, as you level up and you gain newer ranks, you gain
Yeah.
new access to better chats to people that are in the same kind of area of expertise as you are, and you can keep on moving forward.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who would maybe say, you can learn all this stuff on YouTube. You don't have to join the real world. What would you say to them?
That's a very good question. I would say, and I have said that it's, you know, you have to look at how much your time is worth. And the reason
Mhm.
I say this is because on YouTube, you will be scrambling around watching hours of content, but also trying to find the right content to watch. Whereas here, you're paying $50 a month for content that's laid out for you from A to Z, specifically in the categories of which you would want to make money in. And it doesn't get more simpler than that.
Nice. You give me a thumbs up on your screen. So, would you say that the real world condenses all of that knowledge into what you actually need to know in terms of starting a business and getting clients? Then? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've spoken to clients that I have already as well that have their own school communities, etc. And like, there's a common term of YouTube hell, where like
Mhm.
you go through tutorials and like over and over and over again, and some of them have the same information, and you genuinely you have to look at your life and see, are you wasting your time watching YouTube or any other, maybe it's a different platform, but you have to see like, is this information condensed enough for me to get the value I want? And the real world provides exactly that.
Now, speaking of, terms of the information that you can get inside the real world and the value of the real world, what would you say is, what price would you pay for the real world if you wasn't paying $50 a month and you didn't know how much it cost? What would you say would be a fair price?
I think price is dependent on where you are in your own life. So like, somebody would value something as a certain price because of what they currently earn. So the value of price is different. But personally, I think where you can get to, you could charge 200, $500
A
easily
month?
a month. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's very honest answer, bro. But as you said, it depends where you are in your life. Obviously, some people can't afford that, but in terms of where you can get to, that's a very good answer, actually. And you know what, what's next for you inside the real world? Because obviously, you mentioned you had two clients now, and you've built a business in terms of copywriting, and you've got your outreach. What's next for you?
For me, I want to my life goal, what I have in my gut feeling, is that I want to become myself, someone similar like Andrew himself, Andrew Bass,
Hmm.
or like Tape Brothers or yourself, where you kind of inspire people to do better. And the way that I want to do that is by becoming a life coach. So
Okay, cool.
helping people find out what is stopping them to get to where they want to get to. And it goes hand in hand with certain people having businesses, other people having just their own personal things. It could be diet, it could be training, it could be their business, it could be their relationship. A lot of it comes down to your own self and taking responsibility for yourself. And I want to find a way to impact people on that level, to help people realize that you need to look at yourself first. And I would help them kind of introspect further
Have
and
you
find
have you
ways.
met anyone inside the real world, like socially, like that you speak to maybe all the time, or have you built any sort of brotherhood, any sort of network inside the real world?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned this. There was an event that we ran together. There's a group that we added each other, and we created a group of Lithuanians. Um, and then we created an event in Lithuania for 2 days where we rented out a massive house, and we kind of
Wow.
styled it like a war room style type of thing. I think it was 9 or 10
Wow.
of us, and we played chess. We did I ran a training session for boxing and kickboxing.
Yep.
We did like G work sessions. If you don't know what a G work session is, you need to get into the real world and find out. Um,
Nice. I like that. I like that.
and
So
yeah, it was just that. So that was every single person there was from the real world.
Do you know what? That's actually so nice to hear. So, would you recommend that if someone was maybe who didn't have a brotherhood but was like-minded, who wanted to make money, who wanted to do well for themselves, would you recommend that they join the real world for that element of the of the university?
Best place, bro. It's easy
Yeah,
filtering. You have no, because of the way, because of the people with the mindset that even have the courage to join in the first place. There's no issue for you to find people that are on the same path as yourself.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Bro, it's been absolutely amazing. It is my birthday and I'm going to be late for my birthday meal. So I'm going to shoot. But honestly, it's been absolutely amazing hearing your story, how you've turned your life around, how the real world has given you the mindset to make money online. And, you found that brotherhood that you've gone abroad with and, to your home country, Lithuania, and spent time with there and, and done productive stuff with. So honestly, I love hearing it. I'm super proud of you, bro. So well done.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Happy birthday. I did tell Ruckus that I was like, I'm not sure how this is gonna work. It's your birthday today.
Don't worry, bro. I always make time for success, man. But honestly,
Thank
thanks,
you, G.
thanks so much for coming on. It's been my honor. Thanks, G. Thanks for your time.